fun.
All right, welcome to our second review of the evening. This up is a game called Arrowheads. So this is a multiplayer isometric archery game, but
with burp memes.
yeah, like it's a non-serious take on. I hesitate to use the word genre because honestly, I have never encountered a game quite like this.
It's
It
like
is-
Duck Game, only in 3D and with less fun weapons.
But yeah. Like so, if you're looking for serious archery skills, look elsewhere. And yes, those kind of games do exist. You know, especially on PC. Like if there's a simulator game worth having, it's probably a thing that exists.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
But there are definitely simulator games for things that aren't worth it.
Yes. Anyway, Arrowheads. There's not much to this game. I'm gonna be honest. Like
this game has either way, you are a bird or bird caricature with a bow and arrow. You can be many different kinds of birds and equip many different kinds of bows and arrows, but all the differences that I was able to find are cosmetic. Mm-hmm. And there are two modes. One is a mode where you run around trying to shoot other people playing this mode. This is the mode that we played together online because it has online co-op.
Yeah, that's
and you have to play
mode.
with at least two people.
Yeah, that's called arena mode, and the other mode is called arcade, and that's basically a stripped down tower defense game. I know that's kind of amazing to say, but you know, think one of those tower defense games where not only do you have the towers, but you have an avatar that you can control and like kill units and such.
Only without the towers.
Yeah, it's that part.
That mode can be played single player or with up to 4 people, but apparently only local.
Yeah.
If there is an online option, we weren't able to access it. It was grayed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you run around. I'm not sure if they're the same arenas or different arenas. I didn't see any of the same arenas.
Yeah. According to the Steam page, they've got lots of maps.
Uh-huh. So maybe it is the same arenas. But you run around shooting pink bears, mostly pink. Some of them are gray. There are the basic bears that just kind of belly flop on you, and then there are ones that throw axes or javelins or have actual bow and arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Or shields. There's one that has a shield that's... I never managed to complete this because I think it's better if you play with more than one person because you have to defeat waves, and if you're playing with more than one person, you can revive each other. Yeah.
Yeah, so not surprisingly, this game started out as a student project.
And Color me shocked.
It's a cute, fun style, and the voice clips in arcade mode are funny. But it's pretty simple game.
Yeah, it's like I hesitate to call it not a full game because it is. Like it's a really limited game. Like this is considered like this would be 2 modes of a much fuller game in today's terms. Ordinarily, and especially since, as far as I can tell, this game is a PC game. It's not a mobile game that got ported over.
Oh no, this would be terrible on mobile.
Yes, yes. I'm just saying it's got the size approximations closer to a mobile game than a PC experience of the modern era. And that is a factor because one of the things that's really holding back this game is its price point. This game costs $15. This game
this is more like a 10-5 range game.
Yeah, once again, we've mentioned it before, but maybe if you could buy in on a 4-pack, it might be worth $15, overall, but not as an individual purchase. Like, I think even like its release sale price was $11.99, which is still too much. And it's not necessarily because the game is bad. It's just it's lacking content for that price point. Because
if it had like another mode and if you could play arcade mode online, it might be worth it.
Maybe, but it's like even then, like arcade mode and arena mode, these are multiplayer experiences that are good for like a half an hour at most. Like,
in this game, you have 3 lives. In arcade mode, you have 3 lives. You can get more lives. After you when you defeat the bears, they drop little orby thingies, and when you get enough, you can spin the spin-a-majig, which I think is literally what they call it in the game. It's something irreverent like that, and you get random rewards, which can be a nice chunk of in-game currency. It can be another life. It can be a power-up for your guns or armor, for your bow or armor, rather. You gain currency primarily by playing in arcade mode, it seemed like.
You can get either mode.
Right. Yeah. It seems like you get more by playing in arcade mode, probably, if you're good.
Yeah.
But the only purpose of that that I could find is to buy the new cosmetic appearances for your character and your bow and your arrows. So.
Yeah, and the way arena mode works is that's another thing that this game is lacking: options. Like you can't pick an arena, you can't pick the time.
Yeah, stage select would be nice on either mode. Like or even a sense of progression. Like in arcade games, traditionally you do one level and then you do like another level, rather than doing the levels in like a random order.
Yeah, like the only mode you can do is first to 10, and the scoring system's kind of wonky. Like
it's based on how many other people you knock out, and then there's a reset as soon as everyone's been knocked out.
Right, but
it seems like it might do weird things sometimes.
Well, it's also based on like how long you last. I got second simply because I lasted a long time in one round. I'm like, yeah, and let's see, now even though it's not a realistic take on archery, you still do have to take into account trajectory. Like, like you still have to tense up the bow, in order for the arrow to actually like fly across. If you just fire...
if you snap fire, your arrow goes literally about 5 feet.
Yeah, I guess if they're really close, that'll work. But otherwise, yeah, you're not going to win just by mashing the fire button.
On the other hand, you're also not going to win by holding it down for a super long time and aiming carefully, because the game is a little bit wonky. All your options are: you move with one stick, you shoot with the other stick by tilting forward and then releasing, which is something that I'm going to hold against this game in a small way. This is an archery game. When you're using a bow and arrow, you don't tilt towards the thing and then release to shoot. You tilt away from the thing, and that's part of the problem I think we were having with the aiming is it seems to release more smoothly when you dash instead of just releasing, which I don't know why, but I feel like if you were pulling the bow string, it might be a little bit smoother on the release. I don't know why.
Yeah. So
But yeah, you also have a dash / if you're standing still instead of dashing, it's deflect, and a jump that doesn't do a whole lot aside from let you go up on ledges, like short ledges. You can't jump very high.
I guess you might be able to jump over a low coming arrow.
Yeah, and it does slightly increase your range if you're shooting, I guess. But
also show the non-seriousness of everything. If you die, you can still control your character. They'll ragdoll over the place.
yeah, you have to press the jump button to move around, but you can still, like, you can't do anything, but you can kind of like annoy people or
I
get in
think
their
you
way.
can actually block a shot,
Hmm.
but it's a bitch to get yourself in the right position.
Yeah, you're not very fast or agile when you're dead.
Imagine that.
So I suppose it's time to shift into what we perceive to be the biggest problem, aside from the lack of content, and that's the netcode.
Yeah, we had a bear of a time getting connected to each other.
Get out.
Oh, yeah, right. There are bears in this game.
Didn't even realize that was a pun. Anyway.
And then even when we did, one time it wouldn't go all the way to the game, and then it wouldn't load the stage right. And I had some troubles with loading the stage even when I was playing not connected to anyone, so...
I'm not exactly sure what's behind that. If it's coding problem, if it's an engine problem. It's a Unity game, so
Yeah, it's a Unity free game.
Although I don't think we had any performance problems.
Not as much as we were having with Hob.
No. But yeah, it's like the net code here isn't very good, and the reviews kind of reflect that on Steam. Like, there's a lot of complaining about the net, connecting, and also this is one of those games you might have to bring a pack of friends with, because
whether you supply them locally or they all get copies of the game.
Right, but the point is, we did not encounter anyone who was playing online.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like arcade mode is probably the more interesting mode. Though I am biased towards cooperation, but there's also more to do than just shoot at other people who might pick up power-ups.
Indeed. Let's see. The music was, well...
It's a really short Mimi music clip.
Yeah. It's really chirpy.
It's a burb meme game. The initial starting character model is literally called Burb. The second one you can unlock, or like the cheapest one to unlock, I am like 90% sure is a Hotline Miami character.
Wouldn't surprise me. And yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, Arrowheads is not a very deep or long game.
Yeah, and it's kind of grindy if you want the cosmetic stuff as well.
Yeah.
You have to either be good enough to actually complete phases in arcade mode, or you have to play a lot of arena mode. Arcade mode, like I said, also one of the things you can get from the spinny majig is like a drop of like 500 coins.
Yeah, so I'm going to issue 2 ratings on this. As a game, it's average. It doesn't do anything particularly spectacular, in spite of its wacky premise and unique fusions. But as a purchase, below average, not recommended. It's too much, and the netcode is too buggy for me to recommend at $15.
Though, if you have friends locally, this might be more of a recommendation.
Right.
I think it could still be optimized better, because I was still having some weird stuff when I was playing single player, but it would definitely be better with more than one person local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would still probably suggest waiting for a sale.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts on Arrowhead?
It still kind of bums me out that the only mode available online is Arena.
Yeah, it would be super fun, and because you can play arena local too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be super nice if you could play both modes with people who don't live with you
Yeah. And
or are in other states.
yeah, I suppose on that note, we don't really know what if there is a roadmap for this game.
Yeah. If
Like,
this was just, oh, it's out, ha 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 ha.
yeah, I'm like, what sort of bug fixes, or if they've got more modes planned down the line. Like, uh,
Both of those would be welcome.
yes.
Yeah, we haven't actually talked to the developer on this one.
No, yeah, it's like the codes did not come directly from them. Their marketing agency gave us this, so um, they'll probably be listening to this because I mean, this is kind of how it works. Developer or marketer X gives us game Y, we do reviews Z, and we send it back to them. If they listen to it, that's their prerogative. Our job is just to make the thing and make sure it gets back to them. So if they offer any feedback, sure, on the matter of whether or not they're going to have DLC, more content, whatever, that would be great. It's happened in the past. Like, in fact, it happened this week. Like one of the games we reviewed last week, we got some feedback on, mainly because we are literally the only outfit that reviewed it.
Yeah,
Or at
that's
least,
kind of
or at least that's
disappointing.
what they said. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it because I could not, it was color code. I could not find any footage or any reviews on it.
Which is kind of disappointing. I mean, that wasn't like the outstanding game of the year or anything, but I think it deserves better than no one talking about it.
Well, it's also, the people who asked for the codes could honor their commitments.
Yeah.
You know, we did, but that we're getting tangential here. Anyway, Arrowheads as it is. It looks like we're going for a collective. Wait for a sale.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for a sale or improvement. Either one of those could make the game worth it.
Yeah. So on that note, this will conclude another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. The week ahead, well, I suppose we can do MSP first because the plan there is no real plan. It's another guestless. Currently, it's another guestless week. So
yeah. We have a guest for the week after, but due to scheduling issues with them, they couldn't be here this week.
So, I guess there's still time to fill that gap, but until it gets filled, it's Mac is going to talk about his art projects this week.
Yeah.
So, yay, backup plans. Anyway, the week ahead for Fragments of Silicon, we do have a Tuesday interview this week. Kai from Frozen Byte's going to be returning to the program. We had him, if you recall, we had him back in the spring to talk about Has-Been Heroes. He's coming back to talk about the latest 9 Parchments. A multiplayer-focused third-person action game, which is going on the more realistic style of art. I'm not sure who here has seen footage of the game yet.
I don't think I have.
Well, there's
the website right now.
Well, there's time enough to do that. It's coming to all major platforms, like supposedly this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if it is a 2018 title. And on Wednesday, October 4th, we'll be having Cyrus Wesson of Bandai Namco Games. we've been mentioning this appearance for a couple weeks now. It's all gotten sorted out, and yeah, this is going to be the third rep from Bandai Namco Entertainment. Like, changed. Like, that's right. They're rather particular about these details too. But we're going to be talking about Project Cars 2. Like, not the game I think anyone here really wanted to talk about, but I'll be honest. This is just kind of cracking the door open to more connections with Bandai Namco.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with car games. It's just not any of our favorite genres.
Well, and it's also, here's kind of how it works with Bandai Namco. Each community rep covers a certain amount of games. Project Cars 2 is one that Cyrus covers. Another one, the one I really wanted, Dot Hack. Dot Hack Last Resort. We're going to be having
Last Recode.
Last Recode, thank you.
Also Last Resort? No.
Only if it didn't sell well. I mean, wait, what?
Anyway, the point is, we're having him here now to talk about Project Cars 2, so we can have him on the show in November when that game comes out. It's long-term planning, and 2 shows for 1. It's win-win. And on that note, we are reviewing Project Cars 2 next week, along with a game called, let me make sure I pronounce this correctly, Trulon, the Shadow Engine. Another game from Head Up Games. It's an RPG. It looks pretty simple. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. More on that next week. And so until Tuesday, I wish you good gaming.